I genuinely do not know if this is possible. However, I've put my mind to it and we are definitely going to try do it. I think for this video, a lot is going to be cut and we are going to have extra bits, but let's hop into it. So as the title reads, yes, I am going to try rank every single game that I have ever played. Now, obviously this isn't exactly the easiest task, and while the title reads ranking every game I've ever played, it technically means every game that I have ever beaten. So there are games that I have played quite a lot of that I just haven't had the chance to finish yet, and I don't want to put those on the list yet because then I don't think I have had enough of a full experience to justify putting it on this list. So with that in mind, I've actually outlined 3 rules for this list, and that is why the number of games completed might seem a little low to you guys, because obviously I've played, I would say, maybe triple the amount of games that are actually on this list, but I haven't beaten them, or in some cases I don't remember finishing them, I don't remember enough about the game. But let me just list out the 3 rules for you guys so you have a better understanding of what qualifies to be on this list. So first of all, I have to have finished the game. I have to have completed the main campaign. So for example, a game like Returnal, which I've played a lot of, I think I'm at like 20 something hours in this game, and I really enjoy this game. It's a great game for me to pick up and play every now and then when I'm in between games, and I just want to do a run or two in the game because it's just that type of game. It's a fantastic game for that purpose. I haven't finished it. I haven't seen the end credits. I haven't seen any of that. So as much as I love Returnal, I am not putting it on this list. So that is the first criteria. I have to have beaten the game. Secondly, what about a game that I have beaten, but I was a kid and it was a bit too long ago and I don't quite remember it? So a game like Avatar Into the Inferno and the other Avatar game, it's called The Burning Earth. I've beaten both these games. They're very quick games from what I can remember. But I don't remember enough about them to justify me putting them on this list. It'll almost be like me putting something on a list that I actually haven't even played. So it's getting a little bit more complicated to justify putting something like that on the list. So there are quite a few like older titles that I just have left off of this list entirely. And then the last rule is something that's like never ending, something like a FIFA. I'm not putting on the list. So FIFA, you can't end. There's not anything like that where there's an actual proper ending for the game. But this one is where it gets a little bit hazy because things like Helldivers and the original Star Wars, the Star Wars Battlefront reboot on PlayStation 4, I've put on the list because it matters to me. So there's games like that I've put on the list, but like your FIFAs and stuff I've left off, Fortnite I've left off, Rocket League I've put on there because I love Rocket League. It means a lot to me and I've played a lot of it in the past. So it's on the list even though there isn't like a campaign that you can finish. Farming Simulator 19 I've also put on the list, even though again not really a campaign. It's almost like you're just doing what you're doing, but I have got the platinum for that game, so I kind of feel like I have had some level of ending towards it. I hope these rules are sort of making sense. I know that it kind of gets a little bit wishy-washy, but for the most part, just know that I have put an appropriate amount of time, and if there is a story for this game, I have beaten the story for that game. I think that's the easiest way we can put it. But without further ado, this is going to be a long enough video without me rambling on at the beginning, so let's hop straight into it. As you can see, I already have my first 10. If you haven't checked out my top 10 video games of all time, make sure you go check that out. That is the first part of this video, and we are going to be doing quite a lot regarding this over the next coming months. I said I want to make a massive dent into my backlog, and this is where that sort of begins. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try rank now all the games that I have ever beaten. So I've laid out the ground rules, I've made them clear to you guys. So let's hop into this. I'm just going to do them in order that we have here on the screen. Let's hop into just ranking these games. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting them into their different tiers. Once they're in their different tier lists, that's when we will start sort of putting them into order, and then at the end of it I will put them all into like an Excel spreadsheet or whatever and have them in that order, in the order that I created here, there. So first of all my S rank games are there. I don't think I'm going to add any other S rank games. Everything else will probably be A, B, and I just have to make it abundantly clear once again, I'm not going to rank a video game that isn't good or none of these games are bad in any way. If I've beaten it, there is a good chance that it is a good game. So don't take these rankings to heart if it's your favorite video game and it's not like an SS tier list or game. It's just the fact that these are the games that I've played. I think there's 71 of them that I've listed out that I've actually completely beaten and I'm comfortable putting on this list at the moment, which actually doesn't sound that good, but I mean, when you start looking at everything, it kind of makes sense that I've only completely beaten 71-ish titles. But I'm rambling on. What I do want to start with is I'm just going to start like putting them in orders. So let's start here with It Takes Two. I'm going to start by putting it in B. I just think that's a comfortable place to put it. Once we've got them in those, like in their positions, we can start moving them around afterwards. After It Takes Two, we have Ratchet & Clank. Now this is the 2016 re-ish make. It was good, but not for me like breathtakingly good. So for example, we can start ranking straight away here. Ratchet Gladiator is one of my favorite Ratchet & Clank games of all time. I've played a lot of the Ratchet & Clank games. I just haven't finished or beaten or can remember playing and beating them. I haven't played any of the PS3 ones, so that's why the majority of them aren't on this list. Those are games that I want to get back to, and then we will start adding them into this list eventually. So Ratchet Gladiator here, I will put at a B because I do feel like it's better than that. Then we can find Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I really enjoyed Rift Apart. Rift Apart was really good for me, so it's going to go into the A tier. Moving on from there, Astro's Playroom. Astro's Playroom, definitely an A tier, and it's definitely better than Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart in my opinion. Then we go to Death Stranding. Death Stranding was really good. I really did enjoy Death Stranding. Now the question becomes, do I put Death Stranding before or after Ratchet & Clank? I think Death Stranding goes before Ratchet & Clank, but not quite before Astro's Playroom. Now Journey is a really good game. I really thoroughly enjoyed Journey. I played it quite a while ago, almost when I originally got my PS4. So I think putting it in B tier is a good place for it. Now I really enjoyed Lego Horizon Adventures. It was definitely on the shorter side. I do need to go back and get the platinum. It's not a bad game by any means. It's just another Lego game. I think it's better than the Ratchet & Clank game in 2016. The Last of Us Part 2. Okay, we're going to start in A tier, and then we're going to move our way through. Probably better than Death Stranding. Probably better than Astro's Playroom. So we're going to chuck it there for now. We'll see how it goes. Might move around a little bit more. Star Wars Racer, a lot of fun, just good fun. Not much to say about it. If you have a couple hours to spare, I think you can get this platinum in like 4 hours or something. Really, really good fun. Ooh, here we go. Baldur's Gate 3. Let me start with something else first. Let's go here. Alan Wake, and this is going to make sense in a second. Alan Wake Remastered. It was not a bad game. It just it just didn't age as well. Obviously, the remastered helps with the graphics and things like that, but the actual game didn't age well. The gameplay. Actually, let's be a little bit more fair. Let's put it at the end of the B tier. B tier. I don't know why I can't say that. So it's great in that respect. It's just not quite what I was expecting. However, Alan Wake 2, one of my favorite games. I love this game. I love the introduction of Saga Anderson. I can't say enough good things about Alan Wake 2. As a matter of fact, and please don't kill me after doing this, I do think Alan Wake 2 is better than The Last of Us Part 1. I think I had less to complain about in Alan Wake 2 than The Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2. Okay, this is a very long roundabout way of getting into Baldur's Gate 3. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 is a great game. I put 92 hours into it at the beginning of the year when we finally got our physical copy. But I would have given I'm actually going to do it like this. Okay, let's start here. I would have given Alan Wake 2 the game of the year in 2023. It might just be because I prefer the narrative presentation. Baldur's Gate 3 is the type of game that I need to go back in and do another 3 playthroughs. 3 more 100-hour playthroughs. That's how good this game is, and that's what this game is obviously more about. But having only done one playthrough, I think it's very important that I go and do more in this game. And then maybe we get to the point where Baldur's Gate overtakes Alan Wake 2. However, for me at the moment, Alan Wake 2 is definitely what I would have considered Game of the Year 2023. I'm gonna do this. This is going to happen a lot. There's probably going to be an extended cut of this video, and we'll make that our first members only video. If you guys are interested in that, I am going to start launching and looking into launching memberships really soon. So if there is an extremely extended cut of this, I will probably do that. But for now, let's leave it like this. So we put Alan Wake 2 there and Last of Us Part 1 there. So basically Last of Us Part 1 is now sitting in Last of Us Part 2 is now sitting in the 11th position. So these are the top 10 and they are in order. That's why I started with them like that. Then yeah, The Last of Us Part 2 is there. Let's see. Blueprints. Oof. At the moment, and this is going to sound wild, Death Stranding's there. Where's Death Stranding 2? Let's start with Death Stranding 2 before we get into Blueprints. I do have more time in the first one, but that doesn't mean it's always going to stay like that. I definitely want to go back into actually both and get the platinums for both. But Death Stranding 2, massive improvement. This is a very roundabout way of saying that I think Blueprints is my game of the year so far. Now, bear in mind, I haven't played Clair Obscur, and I think that is probably what is going to win game of the year. There's so many great games that have come out, but Blueprints, oh man, magical game. I can't speak highly enough about it, and I think everyone should get into this game and play it as soon as possible. Okay, let's do some quick fire things here. Borderlands 1, good. Enjoyed it, played it co-op. Borderlands 2, probably the better game. Okay, let's get into some controversy. Spider-Man, the story is better than Spider-Man 2. Gameplay obviously much improved in Spider-Man 2, but everything about Spider-Man 1 is better than Spider-Man 2. I hope that makes sense. Like, in its totality. So story, the world, how much there was to do, how it was all more connected. I found that Spider-Man 1 was better than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Ooh. How controversial do we want to get, guys? Because there is an argument to be made that that's how I would have it. So Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man 2. And I think maybe Miles Morales should be at the end just because it's such a short experience. I mean, I did 2 playthroughs in like 7 hours just for the platinum, and it was great. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It is a fantastic game, but it definitely airs on the shorter side. Spider-Man 2 was great, and I think what needed to happen with Spider-Man 2 for it to be better than Spider-Man 1 was some sort of DLC, but we didn't get that. So yeah, Spider-Man, in my opinion, is better than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Miles Morales comes up short just because it's not quite as long as the others, but it didn't need to be. It was a great story, and it was beautifully written, and it was put in, it had the right amount of runtime for the story they were trying to tell. Okay, let's see here. Helldivers 2. I love Helldivers 2. It is such a fun game. I want to play so much more of it. I don't put enough time into this game, and I really am sorry about that. But it has been such a fantastic game that I definitely want to get more time into. My fiance would kill me if I didn't put this in at least A tier. It's not quite in the top 10. Top 20, definitely. Better than Ratchet & Clank, yeah, probably. Better than Death Stranding. The first one, yeah. Better than Astro's Playroom. That might be where I draw the line. Do I? Let's put it there. Okay guys, this video was taking far too long to put together, and it's just going to be obnoxious for you guys to watch the entire video here on YouTube. So what I'm doing is, it's definitely going to be available as a member video if you do want to dive into all of that. But we're going to hop into the end, and I'm going to show you guys my ending thoughts on ranking these videos as part of this little setup here on the tier list. And then we are going to run you guys through for the most part, all the games that I've ranked and why I wanted to rank these games. I have outspoken myself at the moment. I'm getting tired. I see we've been going for 40 minutes. Obviously, I'm definitely cutting this up. You guys are going to have a much shorter version of this. And then I will make the long version available for those guys on channel memberships if you want to hear me ramble on a lot. Uncharted 4. Let's start with Drake's Fortune, because I enjoyed Drake's Fortune. I'm actually going to put it there. Obviously, Uncharted 2, arguably the best one. Most people would say it is the best one. I prefer, my personal opinion, again, I prefer Uncharted 3, and then Uncharted 4 for me is actually my favorite. I don't like how they shoehorned in a new brother. I think random, obviously. I think that's a lot of people's complaints, but I did enjoy the game. I'm actually going to do it like that. It was my first Uncharted, so I think that's probably where my bias lies. And then having gone back and playing the other ones had really good stories and stuff. I just loved Uncharted 4. I think it was such a good game. Obviously the visuals were great. It just was a fantastic game. Uncharted Lost Legacy. Don't think it was as good as Uncharted 2, but I do think it was better than Drake's Fortune. This game, I'm going to put it down here just because it doesn't have a campaign, but I loved this game. It was the game that came packaged in with my PS4, so it has a special place in my heart. Then they added a campaign to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and obviously the recency bias here is the fact that this just had a little bit of resurgence, and I had a lot of fun playing this with everyone that was hopping back onto it. So I'm going to put Uncharted 2, Battlefront 2 there. Then Tome. This is such a beautiful game. Again, very similar. No, I think it goes there. Just a beautiful, beautiful game. Play it if you haven't. Such an artistic game. Overcooked can ruin relationships. The fact that I'm getting married at the end of the year and we played this game just shows how strong of a relationship we have. This game is wild. I just think about everything that transpires when you're playing this game, especially in co-op, less so when you're maybe competitive against each other because then you want to win. But when you rely on the other person and everything just goes wrong, man, this game can really ruin relationships. I mean, not a bad game by any means. I think if we're being fair, I would say probably before the Borderlands games. But yeah. Okay, let's hop out to the outro, and I'm going to put these all into like an Excel list. Okay, so I did have to cut out quite a bit, and like I mentioned, it is going to be a members only video if you want to watch the entire thing, where you have all of my opinions on pretty much all of the games and me just rambling on for hours on end. Jokes, it's about an hour in total, so I don't want to put this video over about 20 minutes. It is a long enough video for YouTube, and I know not everyone wants to sit through that. So what I have done is I've put this section into the video so I can run through all the games. So I can tell you guys how it works. So for example, I have my top 10. My top 10 goes up to Horizon Forbidden West. And again, those top 10, we had specific criteria when I made my top 10 list. A game cannot go into the top 10 if there is another game of its franchise in there. So like God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, both of them can't be in my top 10. I hope that makes sense. But that doesn't mean from 10 onwards we can't have them in whatever order we want. So let's hop into it. After our top 10, make sure you go check out that video. We have then God of War, and then from God of War onwards, it's The Last of Us Part 2, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3. But what I want to put specific reference and specific emphasis on in this part of the video is just because a game is lower down and closer to the bottom does not specifically mean it is a bad game. I've put ratings there next to them, so that's my personal ratings of what I think these games are. And you'll see that a lot of them are 8 out of 10s, a lot of them even up until and out of the top 10. It's so from about, I want to say from 11 till about 20 something, till about 23. It's still 9 out of 10 games. These are still fantastic games. Remember, because of how we've made the list quite short, there are going to be games that aren't on here Specifically, games that aren't good probably aren't going to be on here because I wouldn't have finished them. If a game isn't good enough for me to go and want to finish it, I'm not going to want to put in the time to finish it. I think that's a fair enough assessment. So none of these games are particularly bad. I obviously didn't 100% enjoy some of these games. Batman the Telltale series is my last game. It just didn't feel good enough for me. It's still a 6 out of 10 game, don't get me wrong. The story's good, it's a good game. It just wasn't for me. Gran Turismo Sport I had a bunch of issues with because it didn't feel enough like Gran Turismo for me. It was just an esports title, even though at the end of it they did have quite a bit of single player content. It just wasn't quite there for me in terms of what Gran Turismo should be, in my opinion. And still, it's a 6 out of 10 game. That's kind of how I've done this. I don't want you guys to think that just because these games are at the bottom of my rankings, they are particularly bad games. It's just my rankings of the game. I'm sure someday is going to come when we play a horrible, dead awful game, and that will definitely go to the bottom of the list. That's something that will probably happen in the future. But for now, these are the games that I can sort of remember off the top of my head, and I've put them in the ranking that I think is fair. So if you guys do want to see the entirety of me speaking through it's genuinely about 40-50 minutes of me speaking about every game on this list, and I've put it into a members only video because this task that we had on hand isn't exactly just about ranking the games. It's actually about what comes next. So you guys have seen on the channel, if you have been watching my shorts, that I have been playing a lot of Heavenly Sword. I said that I want to make a massive dent in my backlog, and I stand by that. So what is going to happen after we beat a game and have chosen a game on the backlog is I'm going to put it onto the ranking. So immediately after beating it, or maybe give it a day so that I can let it like sink in, I'm going to put that game as onto this completed list and rank it in order of the games. I hope that makes sense to you guys, and I hope that you guys are going to join me for this journey, because it's not going to be an easy one. There's going to be randomizer wheels when I can't decide on what game to play next, etc, etc. So there's going to be a lot of fun with this series, and for now a lot of it is going to be focused on the games that we have collected via the Astrobot collection, which, if you guys are excited for that, there is going to be a big update very soon. So make sure you are subscribed and make sure you like and stay tuned for more. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will check you soon. Cheers.